Let me get that phlegm out of my.
You're really phlegmy, huh?
Yeah, I got something today. Something about today is just
Is it that basement?
probably.
Probably the basement phlegm.
I'm all about that basement phlegm. God.
That's good. No, that's good.
No. You don't have
that's
to
good.
You don't have to pretend. I know it's not. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to go anywhere.
That's okay. No, that's fine. It didn't have to. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah. What I mean, it's not like we're recording or.
No, it's not like we're trying to be funny here.
No, it's it's not like we're trying to not have disappointing jokes.
Yeah.
So, hi Duncan.
Hi Evan, how you doing?
I don't know how I'm doing. I just finished. We watched. I didn't even just finish, but it left such an effect on me. We watched You Lucky Dog.
We did. We really did.
Boy,
Kirk Cameron's finest work.
What a surprising turn of quality.
Yeah,
just
it
sort
really.
of right out of the gate.
Oh man. It really just drops right off at the second one, huh?
Yeah, it really does, which kind of sucks. But that being said, hey, if You Lucky Dog is your favorite movie because of one particular moment or anything like that,
Please tell me
you're wrong,
why.
but that's valid.
Please tell me why.
Yeah, I would love to know
why. If that's the case, I want to know why, because this is... Oh, boy. This was a film.
It started off with the Ken Burns opening.
It did. It started off with just newspaper clippings of a dog psychic boy. And
they're all like, he can read a dog mind? Whoa, crazy. Whoa. Well, there's like, I think it's a bespoke Lucky-based dog song that sort of sounds like You Get a Friend in Me.
Yeah, I think it starts out with just the word together. That's the only lyric I remember.
That's right. Yep, I remember that too.
It's like You Got a Friend in Me, but he says together.
Yeah, yeah. Which, when did Toy Story come out?
Before this movie.
Yeah, so they did sort of lift that from Andy, I guess.
Should I read the synopsis of this movie?
Yeah, let's talk about this movie before we get in too deep in the
Let's talk about this movie before we talk about it. Okay. When dog psychic Jack Morgan treats the inappropriately named pooch Lucky for depression, he has no idea that his treatment will land him in the doghouse. Lucky's owner dies and leaves all his money to Lucky on the condition that Jack lives with him. Jack's delighted, but the owner's family is furious and determined to fight for what they see as their money. Can Jack thwart the evil relations despite Lucky's canine capers?
So arguably, being the sudden heir of like $64 million is not.
It was $64 million.
That I would not consider that being in the doghouse.
Yeah.
The rest of his situation may be a bit, because as we'll discuss later, he gets a sort of curse.
He doesn't get a curse. This movie makes no sense. So, okay. To start off, we're going through these dog psychic intro news clippings. And then it cuts to him older in his office for dog psychiatry, I guess.
Yeah, and he's and then right outside of his door, there's like a couple, and they're like, "What are we paying him for? This is unbelievable. What are we paying him for?" And then his assistant's like, "Oh, he's the best. He's a really good doctor."
Isn't he asleep?
He is asleep. He looks like David Lynch as well, the comedian with a stutter from America's Got Talent.
David
a couple
Lynch.
Seasons ago.
David Lynch is not who you're thinking of, I don't think.
I think David Lynch is not who I'm thinking of.
No,
Hold
David
on.
Lynch. David Lynch directed Twin Peaks.
Drew Lynch. I don't know when I said
Drew
David Lynch.
There you
Drew
go.
Lynch.
Dude, if David Lynch played Jack in this movie as the dog psychic, this movie would make way more sense. So yeah,
But alas.
he's in his office, and it turns out that he has lost his powers, which he apparently had at one point, and now he's pretending to have them for some reason to scam people out of money, I guess. So then Mr. Windsor comes in, and Lucky's there, and he's depressed, as the synopsis told us, which I don't remember him being depressed. He was just sort of a dog.
Yeah.
And then
he had like a sad dog face, but I don't think you can diagnose a dog with depression, really. I think you probably can.
yeah, probably. But
You'd have to go to a dog therapist for that.
Right. But he's not a dog therapist. He's a dog psychic.
Right, he's a dog psychic.
Like Caesar Milan.
Don't know who that is.
The dog whisperer?
Is that
He's real
a
famous.
television series?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely know that.
Yeah, but it's like...
I've seen clips from that.
So there's a reoccurring thing in this scene that doesn't come back in the rest of the movie, and that's whenever the dog like has a psychic link with him, you hear like a ball throwing swoosh noise.
It's really
which doesn't
weird.
come back.
It's as if he's being thrown these
information.
Thoughts. It's so weird because like the dog will like make a kind of like death stare at John. Is that his name?
Jack.
Jack.
I believe
like
at one point in my notes I forgot his name and I wrote Jason.
Jason. I for the entire time called him the dog guy.
The dog. Yeah,
well,
I mean, he is the dog guy. He is Kirk Cameron, the dog guy. God, this movie's so bad.
It's really bad, y'all. It's really like
This is such a boring.
Boy,
movie.
howdy. It's very nothing good. Here's what I'll say. There's no Leonard in this one.
There's no Leonard. There's no
There's
Leonard.
no
There's
redeeming
no Harold,
quality.
There's no Gilbert. I don't even know why we watched it.
It's so weird. Why did they say it's a DCOM if it's not even in the same cinematic universe? What the heck?
Well, I mean, there's the crossover later.
Oh, you're right.
So he gets a vision from, well, not even a vision. The dog tells him that people are plotting against Mr. Windsor, and that's why he's depressed.
Right, which somehow the dog knows that.
Right.
Like he can conceive that there will be a murder. That murder exists first
Right,
of all.
and then it does happen, and Mr. Windsor does die.
Mm-hmm.
And
then his relatives all gather around.
Yeah, his nieces and nephews. One of them is Q from Star Trek, which was really weird.
It's so strange. Yeah.
The caliber of actors in this movie doesn't make any sense.
Not at all.
The dad from Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil, is the limousine driver.
Mm-hmm.
This is 1998. He didn't need to do this.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
That man was Shredder in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. He didn't need to do this. He had money.
And yet, he did. He did. Because, boy, howdy did he.
Boy, howdy did he. God. So then...
What is the main actor was in stuff before it, or was this his first... Jack, was this his first movie?
That's Kirk Cameron.
That is Kirk Cameron.
I don't know what else he was in before or after.
Yes.
Let's see. What is he famous for? Growing Pains. He was in Growing Pains.
Growing Pains. The movie that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a movie. It's a TV show.
Oh,
it's a sitcom.
Yeah. No, I knew. I mean, I was just sort of goofing and gaffing. I kind of feel, maybe it kind of feels like a movie sometimes with the how much the production.
Nope.
Okay.
So Mr. Windsor dies, and he leaves all of his money to the dog, because the dog told him that he was going to get murdered, I guess.
Right, and so
the three relatives. The plot synopsis told you everything that happens in this movie. Yeah,
the three relatives are like, yo, that's not cool. What the heck, man? We're greedy, and we want the money because we're greedy, and that's our archetype. Is that we're greedy?
Yeah, and one of them's stupid, and that's the humor in the scenes that those characters are in. Is one of them is the stupid one.
2 greedy, 1 stupid.
And also greedy.
Yeah, 3 greedy, 1 stupid.
So the dog gets all the money. And Jack is listed in his will as the trustee for the dog to spend all the money, to interpret the dog's will and wishes to spend the money on.
Oh God! And they really They really go ham with that later.
Yeah.
And debatably the only well done moment of the film. But
Which moment is that?
When they make the whole room for the dog and it looks cool.
I would not even consider that well done. They literally put
relative.
props. They put dog related props in a room. And they push them up against the walls and put them on top of each other.
Put AstroTurf on the ground.
There was nothing. It's
pretty.
They didn't even put AstroTurf on the ground.
Pretty sure they did.
In like one room.
Yeah.
So Jack goes to live in the mansion.
And he's like, the lawyer's like, on one condition. He's like, what's that? And she's like, you'll have to live here. And he's like, all right.
All right. I'm a normal guy. Throughout this whole intro, his character is established as being normal. And he repeatedly says this to everyone he meets. Mm-hmm. He goes, I'm a normal guy.
I'm a normal guy.
So then he's living in the house. And he starts having more psychic links with the dog. And this is something he hasn't felt since I guess he was like 14. Like it's almost indicated that this has only ever happened with one other dog.
Yeah, because it's the same dog.
It's not the same dog.
In the pictures?
It's not Lucky.
No. I'm saying in all the pictures it's the same.
You're right. All the pictures of it are the same. So I don't know why it wasn't considered to be a psychic dog.
Right. That's a good point. Why are we giving Jack all the credit here?
Yeah, Lucky could
Why
be
aren't we
psychic.
giving Jack Terrier
So
the
Jack
credit?
is like tasting things the dog tastes and
like for example the leather shoes.
The leather shoes.
Off screen, presumably the dog's butthole, because I mean, come on.
Yeah, he was probably getting in there.
Jack was.
Yeah, Jack was.
That's just the psychic connection they have. Guys,
yeah,
there is
That's what a trustee does.
Yeah, that's what a trustee does. It's because the dog trustees them to lick the dog's butthole.
And then that's when we get the mouth rim shot.
God. That's what a mouth rim shot
That's
means.
what a mouth rim shot is, yeah.
Top of the morning to you.
So he starts getting more linked to the dog. And eventually the dog gets so excited it takes over his entire brain.
Yeah.
And he just mimics what the dog does.
Almost as if a window to the dog.
To the point where
personality.
When he's asked questions, he will respond as the dog.
I got a full fur coat, don't I?
Oh, God. He's so bad at the voice too.
He's really not good at it.
Oh my God.
It feels like less. It feels less like the dog is speaking through him, and more like he is speaking because he knows he's like, I'm a dog, so therefore I should say this stuff.
It feels like a dad pretending to be a cartoon character, like doing a cartoon character impression for his kid.
Yeah, strengthened by the fact that every time that he begins like having these dog urges, he starts shaking his butt back and forth as if he has a tail.
And he opens his eyes as wide as they go.
Yeah. Does not blink. His eyes after these episodes, his eyes are always dry. And that's where we get our first product placement. He uses some eye drops.
That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
Don't lie.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to give this movie more interesting.
I don't know how eye drops. I don't know how you thought, oh, I know it'll make this interesting. I'll lie and say there's eye drops in it.
No, the joke was the product placement, but then I couldn't think of any brands of eye drops.
There's no branded eye drops. Maybe they should have done that. Get some groundswell for their eye drops. So he goes sort of on a bender, and he can't control anything when the dog is too excited. Mm-hmm. And so he sort of destroys their whole yard and everything in the house, and he makes the maids quit.
Which, of course, it's after like a part where he like is like talking to the dog, and the dog's barking back to him, and he's like, "Dude, you gotta not be excited, dude."
Yeah, he tells the dog not to get excited.
And then like the maids are like, "He can talk to dogs."
No, they're like, "Oh, he's crazy."
Yeah.
He told us he was normal. That's not normal.
That's right. Yeah.
They don't acknowledge that he's a dog psychic. Even though
Right.
they must know.
They have to know. Somebody had to have told him that, like, he's the trustee because he can speak to the dog.
Yeah.
Which, it doesn't make sense then for anybody to be like, why is he talking to a dog?
So then they quit. The maids quit. They're done. They don't want to work for a dog man.
I mean, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't either. But
Duncan, we have to stop doing this podcast now.
why?
You're a dog man.
I'm not a dog man.
Maybe I'm the dog man.
Yeah, but you work for me, so that's okay.
Okay.
I'm the boss.
You're the boss and the owner.
Yeah, sure.
I wonder, okay, you have a dog, right?
Yeah, I have a dog.
Do you think your dog sees you as, like, a family member or as a boss? Like a work friend or like a family friend?
Definitely a family friend. Because she licks my face. I don't think you'd lick your boss's face.
That's probably true.
Because there was a study on the sociology of animals where they would they figured out that dogs view people as people,
right,
as like separate from them and greater
Really?
because it's a person.
Huh.
But cats just think of you as a big cat.
Yeah, I was about to say that I definitely feel as if my cat thinks that she is the boss, when in fact I am the one who can pick her up and move her wherever I would like her to be,
Yeah,
instead of where she is.
I think cats probably think of you as their boss that they don't really like. Whereas dogs see you as like a superior species and entire being.
Yeah, because dogs, like, I feel like dogs never run out of, like, I'm so excited that you exist, you know?
Right, yeah. Which doesn't really happen in this movie.
Right, which is, yeah, that's interesting. Well, no, he's depressed. The dog's depressed, remember?
But he's not, because he's getting overexcited about things.
Right, well, he can get excited about things while depressed.
This scene that we're at right now in the movie is the one where the dog is actually depressed and will not eat.
Yeah.
This is also after
Yeah.
Jack explains yet again that if the dog gets too excited, he loses control. He explains this to Carl Winslow, the driver, but
The baby driver.
the baby driver. But we already knew this.
Right.
We very much so already knew this.
Either we knew it or we thought that we thought that Jack got a boner.
Yeah.
Which was what I thought for a couple seconds.
It did sort of give that framing to it.
Yeah, because it was like just barely off screen, and then he like, yeah, it was bad.
It really was.
But yeah, he tells it to the audience again. Well, through telling the driver, he
Right.
tells
He
again.
tells, not shows, after showing. He shows
Right.
and tells.
He shows he's in preschool. He brings his dog in and says, "Look at my dog. When he's excited, I become the dog."
Yeah, and then he does it. So
Right.
then the dog is sad because his owner died last night, like yesterday. Like
Which I feel like this is a really fast time scale for that.
okay, just to point out, we're like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, I know.
This movie is so slow and so fast. Nothing happens, but
There's so much filler. There's so much unnecessary filler. Gives us more room to flex our funny muscles.
our big funny muscles. Look at my weird funny biceps.
Look at my elbow. When I bump it on a table, it hurts real bad.
My big muscular arms are squiggly like a crazy straw. Isn't that fun?
I've got an articulating elbow. Isn't that crazy?
It goes back and forth. Whoa.
Whoa.
Funny.
Crazy good.
So the dog is sad. And because of that, nothing is happening to Jack. Jack is just a regular human who just knows the dog is sad, like anybody would know, right?
Right.
Because it's a sad dog and they tell you.
Yeah.
So he decides to, on purpose, get the dog riled up and excited about going to the mall.
Right. Yeah. That's totally right. Because he's making a point. he's making a point the entire time where he's like, I don't want to get this dog excited,
Right.
or else I'm going to be controlled by the dog and everyone's going to think I'm crazy if
Exactly.
I go out in public. So he does both of them.
Yes.
He gets the dog riled up and then goes out in public like a lunatic.
This dude has it made. $64 million.
Yeah.
All you have to do is keep the dog sad. You have to keep an already sad dog sad, which is not hard. If you just tell a dog no, it doesn't even have to be for a specific reason. They get kind of sad.
It's true. And if the dog's starting to get like let's say you have a treat. Let's say you want to give the dog a treat. And the dog starts getting like a little bouncy. You're like, sit, hey, sit, Lucky, no, sit, wait down.
If you just put
and
the
then
treat
the dog
away.
calms down.
If you just put the treat away, the dog gets sad.
There's so many ways that the central plot and like driving part of this movie can just be completely null and void.
An adult human man should know how to emotionally manipulate a dog.
An adult,
Especially a dog psychic.
yeah, especially a dog psychic.
It's your whole job.
Is it a two-way communication for the dog
See,
psychic?
okay,
Because
this is what I was going to bring up. Because he says we're going to go to the mall,
yeah,
but it sort of implied that the dog doesn't really know what the mall is after they get there.
right.
So I'm assuming that what the guy is thinking goes into the dog's brain too.
So, by that logic, because it's shown that Jack can see Lucky's memories.
Wait, do you think if
Can
Jack
Lucky
gets
see
really
Jack's
excited,
memories?
like if Jack got himself excited,
The dog would become
the
human.
dog would
Just-
become Jack. He'd stand up and like walk around.
He'd get up on all fours. He'd be like, wow, where's the Doritos? I want to play some video games.
Yeah, Jack gets really excited for like. What do humans get excited for, Evan? Quick.
Victory Royale in Fortnite.
Jack gets
you
a
win
victory
Fortnite.
royale, and the dog stands up and default dances.
No, that's a movie.
No, that's a movie.
Yeah, why didn't they explore at all the other direction?
Probably because you can't get a dog to act very well. Like you couldn't really do that. This is
How'd they get the dog to look places?
They put. Well, okay, you can do that. You can't make a dog stand up and default dance. We have that technology now.
We have the technology now, yeah. But, so we should. So this is actually slowly becoming a pitch for You Lucky Dog 2.
You Lucky Dog 2.
Because there's so much
Victory
to
Royale.
improve on. Victory Royale. God, You Lucky Dog cross any battle royale, like
You
cross
Lucky
promotional
Dog
event.
PUBG skins.
You can be the driver. Dude, that would be a cool skin in Player Unknown's Battlegrounds.
What, like a suit?
That would be a cool. Yeah, it'd be like
I think
a suit,
they have
but,
that.
but yeah, you could probably Oh, dude, PUBG cosplays. Not in
exist.
real life, not in real
In a
life, but
movie.
in cosplay.
In cosplay?
Shut up. I said it wrong. I meant in PUBG.
He's just playing the game. What do you mean?
No, it's okay. Okay, so you cosplay other characters in PUBG using skins in PUBG
okay,
and like
okay.
clothing in PUBG. It's like when you make a character in The Sims 4 that looks like another character,
Right.
but it's
what
me
everyone
calling
does
it
with
cosplay.
the character creator.
Exactly. Yeah.
They just make a different character.
It's me pretending it's novel and calling it cosplay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Very novel.
Very nobody done.
So
Before.
now they're gonna go to the mall, Evan.
They go to the mall. Dude, this part is to this scene is to You Lucky Dog as the mummy walking around in the city is to
Oh, really?
Under Wraps. Not in terms of the character acts kind of crazy, and there's some people who are like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that as a person. And then the character says, I don't care, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah, I guess.
There's a parallel there in the timing of the film, and also not the timing of the film, but the timing of the full plot, and then also compared to the fact that it's a dog in a mall, and then like the guy's like, get off of the couch, dog, and he's like, no, I want to buy it.
Right.
As it is to like the mummy walking around, and then the kid being like, you look weird. There's some parallels there, at least, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then they get to the food court at the end, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and this is the point where
Jack.
where so the attorney of Mr. Windsor's estate is this nice woman. I don't remember her name.
Me neither.
I don't think she had one really, and she brings her daughter with her, and her daughter has the saddest line in the movie, which is, "We don't have room for a puppy because Daddy got the house," which is just like, oh God.
It's a very sudden thing.
It's like, it's so poorly done. It's so ham-fisted and like fast for trying to tell us things about this.
Yeah, it's very much like, did you catch that she's not married anymore, audience?
Did you see?
Did you catch that she is now single mom? Did you catch?
Blink and you'll miss it.
And then, so they're walking and talking, and he's talking to her a lot, and she's talking to him a lot. And then they get to the food court, where the dog starts walking off on his own, and then they keep talking. And then the dog smells... Oh, I wrote it down somewhere. Hold on. I wrote down the name of it somewhere.
Did you really?
Yeah, the name of the... Wonton Tommy's. That's the name of the place that they go get food from.
Yeah, he smells Chinese food in the food court at Wonton Tommy's.
And then there's another close-up on Jack's butt. On Jack's ass. On Jackass.
On Jackass, yeah. And Jack is talking to the attorney as he starts to...
At this point.
To channel the dog, and he starts talking about all the wonderful Chinese food he wants to eat. And it's so funny.
And it's really funny because the attorney has no context for this. And later in the movie, sees nothing wrong with it as far as she's concerned.
Yeah, she just sort of goes, oh, I guess he's hungry. And she picks up her daughter and runs away very quickly.
Yeah, it's really strange because like later in the movie, she's like fighting for him, and she's like, well, you haven't told me, like
Right.
make sure you tell me everything.
She's like, you're not mentally incompetent, are you? You'd tell me, right? You can trust me.
He's like, I would.
I'm not a cop.
But then what's crazy is that she then like sees this thing happen, and she's like, that's not mentally incompetent. That's right.
I have to get my daughter out of here
guy.
quickly, but he's fine.
But he's fine. And so they get a lot of food from Wonton Tommy's.
Yeah,
and
they start eating everything, and they eat the garbage, and then security throws them out.
Smash cut to
outside their house,
the next day,
and all of the stuff they bought at the mall is being delivered.
Including the like 4 couches that the dog was just like, I like this couch.
Right,
And
the dog
that
bought
one, and that
$5,000
one.
worth of couches, or more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And the I called them the evil party. They're like, what's going on over there? What's he doing? And so the girl of the evil party walks up to him.
Right, the nieces and nephews of Mr. Windsor, the guy who died.
And who think that they deserve the estate and money and things like that. And she's like, WTF, man. That's what she says. She's really
yelling about him ripping out the marble flooring in the kitchen. And then the dog gets angry at her.
And so does Jack, and he bites her. And tears off clothes.
Yes. Jack bites off her pantyhose with his teeth. He gets on all fours and rips this woman's leggings off with his mouth. And this is, I think, part of what inspires them to, I guess, break into their house.
Yeah.
I don't exactly remember why they did. Do you remember why?
No, I don't remember why, but they were just like, I remember there was a scene earlier where they were in a motel and they were like, they were like dancing around saying that we're gonna kill Jack.
Right.
Or Lucky, one of the two.
Probably the dog. I don't think you can just kill a person.
Yeah, especially not in a Disney Channel original movie.
Well,
I guess we'll find out.
Maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. You sound as if you know, but I don't want to know if you know or not, so don't say anything.
Okay.
But so yeah, this is that one scene as well where they have this huge room for Lucky and there's like lots of stuff for him. And he's like, like Lucky's excited for a second, then he's sad again, and he's like, basically with his face says that all this good stuff cannot replace the fact that that Windsor is gone.
Right, yeah.
But then, in a really sweet moment, Lucky sleeps in the bed with Jack, showing that he thinks that Jack is a competent owner.
Right. And then they break in.
And then the evil squad breaks in.
This scene is the worst part of the movie.
Oh my god, it's
by
so
far.
long.
There's like 2 songs that play and neither one fits. One's like this weird jazz guitar that's too loud.
Yeah, it's totally too loud, and the entire time it's like the same, I would say 16 bars too. Like, it's not a long song, but it's the same bars that just like keep looping over and over again.
It plays for like what feels like 10 minutes, just on loop.
Yeah.
And it stops. There's like a silent period, and then it starts again.
And then it starts again
with the same song.
It's so whack. It's so unbelievably whack. Like they're going around the house. They have like tranquilizer darts.
Yeah, they have tranquilizer guns for I don't know what reason, other than to shoot each other with to provide comic relief to children.
Yeah.
There's no reason
they do that
for them.
a lot.
They didn't bring the guns to shoot the dog. It seems like, because at one point they see the dog and they don't shoot him, even though they totally could have.
Right. It's very strange because it seems as if maybe they're all stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it's dumb because they're all in the house and stuff, but it's like they don't.
There's no reason for them to be in the
anything.
house.
Yeah.
Their plan was to prove that he was mentally incompetent. So to do that, they've broken into his home
Was that
to
their
shoot him
plan?
with guns. That's what the lawyer told them they needed to do to get the money.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about all these lawyer scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the evil squad has a lawyer on their side, and he's like, "I'll take 30%." And then they're like, "That's too much. We'll do it ourselves." And then they come back to him, and he's like, "I'll take 50%."
Oh, yeah. Do you remember the lawyer's name?
Oh yeah, isn't it Pfister?
It's Mr. Pfister.
Mr. Pfister.
Mr. Pfister, the lawyer.
Dude, he will fist any case, and he will win.
He'll fist you.
He'll fist you,
But it won't
for
be
all
cheap.
your money. Won't be.
This
God.
isn't a cheap dollar store street corner fisting you're gonna get from this guy. All right.
This is a $32 million fisting that you're
This
gonna
is a
receive
30%
from
fisting.
30% fisting.
So after they break in, defeated, they go back to the lawyer and basically have the same scene again. But this time he raises the commission he's going to take, and they just go through with it that time, I guess. For no real
'cause
reason other than the movie needs to move along.
Yeah.
I guess they feel too defeated by the break-in attempt that they just kind of give up.
Was this before or after the? I thought this was before the break-in attempt.
No, this was after.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure
I
it was
even
after.
have notes. Yeah. Oh, yep. It is after.
So then they have a press conference, and they're very clearly sort of in the right here, where they're like, this man is a con man
yeah.
who tricked our uncle a week before he died into giving him all his money.
Right. And obviously, Jack didn't know he was going to die, but we don't know
Right.
that. He didn't know.
But not only that, but this man is a dog psychic
Yeah.
that the guy knew for a
Like-
week, which is just very clearly like not how that should work.
Right. It's very sudden, and it seems like that's not anything good. Nothing is good about the whole thing, because he's just given $64 million to basically a guy.
Right. If this really happened, everyone would be on the side of the nieces and nephews, not Jack.
Right.
Or as I
because
have
nobody
written
knows.
here, James.
James.
I wrote trial for James because now they're in
Trial
court.
for James.
And I forgot his name because this movie sucks.
This movie sucks.
So James is on trial. His name is James now.
His name's... Yeah, we're just gonna... It's just James now. There's no...
But he doesn't tell his attorney that he can do this with the dog. He doesn't
This is
tell
James
his-
you're talking about?
James does not tell his attorney lady that he channels Lucky.
Not at all. Like, which seems like an important thing to tell her,
No, it's super important
especially if she's gonna be proving
that you don't do this.
right. Because their whole platform, the nieces and nephews, their whole platform is like, oh, he goes crazy and he becomes a dog.
Right,
sometimes.
he bit my pantyhose off.
Right.
He's crazy. And he pretends to be a dog psychic, which is not a real thing.
And then for the attorney on James, the attorney on James's side to be like, hey, he doesn't do that. It's just sort of just sort of doesn't work.
Yeah, she just sort of goes like, that's not true.
Yeah,
'Cause it is
because
true.
immediately after they go to a recess, and she's like, you're like, we're, blah 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 blah, and he eventually is like, okay, listen, I am crazy. I do everything that they said is true. I do turn into a dog.
I do turn into a dog, but I promise I'm not crazy. This is real. I really do channel the dog. And she's like, well, I hope you're right. And then she just sends him back out there to channel Lucky on the stand.
Which, like, he doesn't. I don't think it's sort of insinuated that he doesn't explain how he's gonna do this. Like,
right.
He's just like, trust me on this.
He just goes and does
Trust me. Yeah. So the attorney like comes up to him and she puts him on stand. Which, by the way, this whole scene,
It's a good scene.
It's not in proper like legal like procession form.
No, it's not. It's, you know what it
The whole
looks
thing
like?
is,
It's filmed really similarly to the B-movie court scenes.
It really is. It really is. I'm really glad that I've seen the B movie so I can agree with you.
This is the
on
first
that.
movie I've ever brought up to you that you've actually seen.
I know.
Like, other than
in
movies
however
I've watched
many years.
with you, I've never once brought up a movie and you've been like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Which is ironic, especially considering that I am a film school student.
Right.
And should probably be the one who's bringing up movies
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, how does this
But-
compare to Citizen Kane? You know?
Yeah.
Have you seen
I've seen Citizen
Have
Kane.
you really? I have.
Yeah, I have.
I only watch good
It's,
movies, so.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
You Lucky Dog.
Good movies and you lucky dog. Citizen Kane is not like, everybody's like, oh, it's really good, and like it's all right, but it's not good.
Is it good for the time?
See, I wasn't born in the time, so I don't know.
Well, right,
I have
but like,
no
have you
other
seen, well,
movies
okay,
to compare it
never mind.
against.
Yeah, you have not seen any other movies that were released at the same time.
No, yeah. So, I did have one movie that I saw another movie of the same year, and that doesn't ever happen. And it was The Graduate and a movie called Bonnie and Clyde, which is
Wow.
like a telling of a Bonnie and Clyde story. Boy, howdy, was it really interesting to see these two movies released the same year, and one of them entirely, in every single regard, be better than the other.
That is how movies work.
Yeah, it's
Is that sometimes
weird.
they're better than each other.
Isn't that weird?
It's kind of weird.
You know, I think there's actually two movies like that, possibly. Because we did see You Lucky Dog just now, and we also saw Under Wraps, and one of those was definitely better than the other in practically every single way.
Now, that is true, but this movie came out a year after, in 1998.
This movie came out a year after.
This movie was a year, not a full year. This came out in June. Under Wraps came out in October.
So a little less than a year.
Less than a year, yeah.
If you think about it that way, they had a year to make this masterpiece.
But none of the same people were involved.
No, yeah.
So he's channeling Lucky in the courtroom.
Well, so there's a really good moment here as well where the attorney is like, all right, what is the dog thinking right now? And then James just goes, your shoes?
Your shoes? Italian leather.
Yeah. And then he's like, ha ha ha, great one.
Good
great one.
Haha, yeah, I like that. And then he calls him off the stand. And then that's the end of the movie.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the great part that happens immediately after that.
No, you're right. Okay, we got to talk about it.
We got to talk about it. So he's like, no, I'm serious. Let me channel the dog. And they're like, no, you can't do that. Like, nobody believes you. And then the driver's like, I do. And they're like, God, all right, we'll let
Yeah.
him do it.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, Lucky, get excited, which of course is not going to work.
Right, but he eventually gets excited looking at the lawyer talk mean, I guess.
Yeah, and so he's like, bark, bark,
About
bark.
Mr. Windsor?
Yeah, he's talking. I think he's talking about. Yeah, I think one of the two of them.
Yeah, he's talking about one of the guys.
But he's basically just like, this guy is a fraud, and he sucks, and he's awful, and everybody hates him, including his parents.
He's a
and then the
real
dog's
loser.
like, that's not true.
Yeah, the dog gets excited. He starts growling, and then he possesses James. And James now has access to the dog's memories and sees the truth of what happened to Mr. Windsor. And that truth is that Q from Star Trek poisoned him.
which sounds like a really funny crossover joke.
Yeah, it's the same actor. I don't remember the actor's name.
It's one of the nephews.
One of the nephews
forgotten
poisoned him, and then for some reason this allows James to take back control of his own body, and he looks at Q and says, "Why'd you do it? Why'd you poison him?" And then what happens?
Q stands up.
He stands up.
And he's got what can only be described as a gun.
He pulls out a gun. There's another gun.
Which makes us 2 for 2 on the gun counter here in DCOM land.
Here's the thing that I've heard. When you're making something, especially comedy, the idea is to escalate it. Mm-hmm. And because of this, a lot of the time you get to an end point where someone just pulls out a gun because that's the farthest escalation that most people can think of.
Right.
And we're 2 for 2. I don't think a lot of work was put in these movies. I think they just sort of went, what scares kids? And then they pull out a gun to scare kids with.
It's always either a gun or a stranger.
Right. Those are the two things that scare kids.
And for me as a kid, the baby gun from high school, super high, high school high.
What is high
Sky
school
high?
high?
Sky High.
Oh yeah, the baby gun from Sky High.
The baby gun. That terrified me. It's called.
That's a movie you've seen.
Yeah, that is a movie I've seen. I remember it vividly.
Dude, Sky High rules.
Dude, Sky High does rule. There's a whole scene in it where there's like a bunch of like spinning blades, and that was freaky for me as a kid.
Yeah.
But I loved that movie.
Such a good movie. So, what does he do with the gun, Evan? Because the last movie, a gun got pulled out and then the guy got thrown instantly.
Right, and he didn't get to fire it off, but not with
the
you,
gun.
lucky dog.
No.
Which here's where the unlucky part, the poorly named part of Lucky comes in. He shoots the dog.
The dog gets shot and everyone in the courtroom starts crying. And they all get down on the floor to look at Lucky, shot on the ground.
Yeah. There's like this which is crazy because they were all against. I guess they were against James and not Lucky, but they were all against it. But everybody's there, and there's like this like slow shot, and they're like, Lucky, please.
Yeah, and then the attorney just sort of looks at him, touches him once, and goes, "Oh, it just grazed his ear."
And then the dog's fine.
And then the dog's fine and looks up, and everyone laughs.
Oh my god, it feels like an outtake.
So, first question. How do you get a gun in a courtroom?
Yeah, how do you get a gun in a courtroom?
They check you for guns before you enter a courtroom. I'm pretty sure they did that even back in the 90s.
Yeah, they've got like metal detectors and stuff. Because here's the thing about a courtroom: if somebody has a gun in the courtroom,
they win the case.
Yeah.
Because they shoot the other guy.
That is written in the fine print of the bar test.
Only the judge is allowed to have a gun, and the judge goes, "I sentence you to death." And then instead of the gavel, he shoots the thing on the thing.
God. Which, by the way, this lawyer was a bad lawyer.
Which one? Mr. Pfister?
The judge? All of them. Mr. Pfister was the lawyer, and he did not do... All of them had so improper form. None of them said the correct stuff, and they all got fisted by Mr. Pfister. He just fists the usual procedure. But the judge did bad at being a judge and doing judge things. It felt very much like a Judge Judy sort of thing, where the judge had some funny one-liners that the judge said, which I went to one mock trial because I had an ex-girlfriend in it.
What was your ex-girlfriend on trial for?
It was a mock trial.
Oh, sorry. What was your mock ex-girlfriend on trial for?
A broken heart.
Oh.
No, but that immediately makes me the master on these sorts of affairs.
Right.
And the energy in that room was not the energy in the movie.
Yeah, and technically, this was also a mock trial because it's a movie. This wasn't a real court case, guys. Sorry.
You have a point. Yeah, this was not a documentary. As much as
You
it does
Lucky
seem.
Dog, the documentary, directed by Ken Burns.
Directed by Ken Burns, right from the start. He got him on board. I'm so glad.
So of course they win the court case because one of
Right.
them shot the dog,
Right.
and I think they all go to prison. Mm-hmm. And then what happens
Oh,
after?
there's a part where the dog says that, yeah, of course he's crazy. Most two-leggers are crazy.
Right, you're right.
And
They ask him if he's crazy, and he
two-leggers,
calls him a two-legger.
which I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Not with the hard R.
Right, two-legger.
I mean, we're allowed to say it.
Right, because we're two-leggers
our word.
ourselves. That's our word. And so yeah, they win the court case, and then afterwards, it's revealed that they bought all the dogs.
Yeah,
They
so
bought all the dogs.
they go back to their house, and the little girl, the attorney's like, "Look, Mom, James bought me the dog I wanted." Clearly, way after it happened, just
Right.
for us, the audience, to notice.
Right. And to be reminded that this young character exists.
Yeah, be reminded this character who is in like 2 scenes even exists, and we should
Right.
care about what they want.
Right.
Just because Daddy got the house.
But it was unnecessary to have the girl, I think.
Yeah, it really was.
She didn't put any... I mean, some character development, sure. But like,
For who?
oh, I know what she was in there for. For the kids.
What? For the
kids
kids to
watching.
relate to.
They were like, oh, that baby is me.
Yeah.
I want a dog, therefore I care about this
Are
movie.
these movies just targeting children of divorce?
So far, it seemed like that.
So far the themes we have are gun.
Yep.
And divorce.
Yep. Yep.
I don't think that's going to continue.
It might. One of the two of them might. We never know.
That's true, yeah. From my future knowledge,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's no more guns. I don't want to say this every time, but I'm pretty sure there's no more guns.
It was wild because like this movie was a lot worse.
Oh my god, it was so much worse. We're at the end now, by the way. That's it. That's all that happens.
That's all that happens. That's the whole plot. The synopsis of this one is more like a plot. Is more like the whole plot.
It's more like the whole movie is explained, yeah.
And so is it insinuated that James and the attorney marry? Is it insinuated to you? I thought it was
They're at least dating.
Yeah, they're at least dating because they're
Like,
he
you don't
was like-
adopt like your
Yeah.
friend's daughter a dog to live at your house. No one would do that.
Right. But yeah, there's a funny
Oh,
joke-ish where he's like,
missed-
the dog chose to buy all of this.
Yeah. He says that we're lucky that Lucky didn't notice until now that those other dogs were for sale.
Yeah.
Which is such a weird way to put that.
Yeah, because
It really makes him seem like a dog slaver.
right. Yeah, and then it's also wild because it's like, why did Lucky want to buy all these dogs? Like, Lucky owns the dogs, so it's dog-owned dog.
It's a dog-owned-dog world out there, guys.
Keep your head on a swivel, guys. It's a dog-owned dog world. You're gonna be out on the street tomorrow. Mark my words, okay?
Mark my words.
You're gonna
Pretty
be out
soon
on
your
the
dog's
street.
gonna own you.
Pretty soon you're gonna be the one
You're
on
gonna
the
be
leash.
eating kibble on the floor.
You're gonna go outside and you can see a dog connected to another dog by a leash, and it's gonna be unclear which one is leading it, but it's gonna be one of
They'll
the
be
two
walking
of them.
side by side, but both holding a leash in their mouth. But
Right.
It's one leash, so you don't really know.
You can't tell. It's really hard to tell. It's really cute, actually, now that you're like looking at it for a while.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I'd like that too, more than this movie. I'd watch that for the length of this movie instead of this movie.
How would you fix this movie?
Oh God, this is a tough question. Okay, first of all, the idea of a guy suddenly being able to read a dog's mind, I think, is a good thing. That being said, there's no reason that this guy should have been a dog psychiatrist in the first place.
I think that keep him being a dog psychiatrist, sure, but make it a straight up scam. Make it that he is scamming people pretending to be a dog psychic.
You mean he never had it in the
powers.
first place? Yeah.
And then when this dog comes in, he gets the powers.
Right, and he's like, whoa, this is so crazy.
Yeah, it would make a lot more sense with the way that he doesn't want this to happen.
Yeah, I think exactly, because he feels as if like he shouldn't be in charge of this because he doesn't actually have the power, even if he did for one.
Right. I think the way I would write it, he would be a giant asshole.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, and then he has the
dick.
character arc where he becomes a nice person through this.
Right.
Like,
he starts to care about the dog.
Right.
And
This realization of
attorney and her
responsibility.
kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then also I think it would work as well better if the no, because I was about to say it would work better if the dog had been going to for a while, like the rich guy had been going to for a while, because then it would be more like the court case wouldn't be. But then if you have the character development through the fact that he has this sudden responsibility and he learns to deal with this responsibility, that's
Right.
where he earns that. He earns that ability. Like, yeah, he in the beginning, like he would have lost the court case for sure because he's a liar and whatnot. But
And I think
in the end,
having him
he would have
do
earned it.
more to stop the dog from getting excited and to be meaner to the dog in the beginning
Yeah.
would make more sense. Like if the dog got naturally excited instead of him making the dog
it
excited and
Yeah, that was a
screwing
weird
himself
plot
over
point.
at multiple
Yeah.
points. That would make way more sense.
I think the nieces and nephews are fine. I don't like him.
No,
but-
I disagree. Get rid of all of them except for Q
Okay.
and have him be a much more serious and
Make
like
it one guy.
sinister character, like a more actual of a villain and a threat to the main character.
Yeah.
Like he knows that the guy's a fake.
Yeah, I feel like if you build something in like that, then you're setting up a like, especially if like in the beginning he's the one who leaves and he's the one who's like, you're a fraud, because at the beginning there's like the guy who's like,
Right,
you're a
yeah.
fraud. If he
If he
that
has his
guy
own dog,
yeah, if he has his own dog and he's like, I know you're
oh
a
man,
fraud,
and you
I
could
know
have
you're
a
a
scene
fake.
where like
Yeah.
he channels his dog,
Jesus.
and then
Christ.
that dog like insults him.
That would actually be really cool.
That would have been great.
That would have been great if he had his own dog. I thought you meant like if the nephew, if Q channeled his own dog, and
No.
then they had
Okay,
a dog
wait.
fight.
Dude, if they had a dog fight, if the dogs fought with their human bodies,
Yo.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my God! Now we're getting into like anime territory.
that would
like
be so fucking awesome.
like a world in which everybody has a dog, right? It's like a coming of age thing where everybody has a dog, okay? But then you can choose when to channel your dog. Some people have better control over it than others. But the dog starts to speak through the human, and the dog has this sort of like, some dogs are more
Evan, are you
powerful
pitching
than others.
Zatch Bell with dogs? Because it kind of sounds like Zatch Bell with dogs.
What is Zatch Bell?
Zatch Bell is about a... Okay.
I'm pitching a sort of like Gundam thing with
Right,
dogs.
okay, so Zatch Bell is this race of like tiny doll aliens.
Okay.
I think their planet explodes or something, and they all get sent to Earth. And they like
You can't feed them
bind
after
them,
midnight and stuff
They
like that.
bind
right?
themselves to a human, and their human is like their master, kind of like Pokemon. And their human gets a book of their attacks, and then they fight each other.
So it's
You
just
should
like,
watch Zatch Bell. Instead
God.
of You Lucky Dog, go watch Zatch Bell.
yeah. Usually this is
what-
the part of the episode where we say, go find You Lucky Dog, go watch You Lucky Dog. But instead,
Don't.
and watch Zatch Bell instead. How do you spell
Yeah.
that?
It's like Zach with a T.
Zatch Bell. Okay.
Zatch Bell, yeah.
B-E-L.
So what would you rate this movie?
Got 2 out of 10.
I was gonna say 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
This is a 3
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble. I wasn't spending the entire movie trying to find a picture of Scott the Woz, but I could have.
Yeah, you easily
and had the
could've.
exact same experience with this movie.
There were large portions of this movie where I just wasn't looking at it, and then I'd look up and ask you guys, like, what happened? And you guys would say, nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Yeah, because it's a very slow movie, but
It's an empty film.
it's an empty film. Yeah, it feels very filler in a lot of parts.
Yeah.
Like it feels very slow paced, but unnecessarily slow paced. Like
There's
they
no
explain the whole.
payoff. It's not funny, really.
Yeah, it's not funny. There's and to your point of no payoff. Yeah, there's no like. It's no setup and payoff. That's why I totally agree that I think that he should have been a fraud in the first place. Like he shouldn't have been worthy. And then he earned his worth through his connection with this dog, and his solving of the murder case, basically. Because I think having the murder case is a cool idea, where like the nephew, even if it's one nephew, because I think that would be a really good idea, have better, more focused threat. One nephew that really wants this fortune, so he kills the guy, and then it slowly is revealed as he gets to be better friends with the dog, and then therefore he's sort of like solving the mystery through it.
And it would make more sense that we have to constantly explain that the dog getting excited, like, makes him take over the guy, because the guy wouldn't know that from the start.
Right. He would be like, he wouldn't go in being like, oh, this is a thing that I've experienced before and now it's coming back. He would go in being like, I didn't think this was possible, but now it is.
You could have him try to cheer up the depressed dog.
Yeah.
And then it takes him over and he's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that was crazy. He would say hell too.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Don't watch this movie.
Yeah, that's
not
plain
worth
and
it.
simple.
It's not worth your time.
it. Wait until the sequel, the reboot.
You lucky dogs. You lucky
You
pups.
lucky buddies.
You lucky buddies. Oh.
Oh God.
Imagine being controlled by multiple dogs at once.
Oh my
He's
God.
like a Voltron. Each dog controls a limb.
He'd be going in like 20 different directions.
Oh,
And then you'd be the best basketball player and space person
and spooky.
and spooky. Yeah, and spooky. You'd be the best spooky. Oh God. Well, I think that's gonna be it for this episode. Thanks guys for hanging out with us for the past 50 a little bit over 50 minutes.
Okay. I'll try to edit it to that.
Well, it's an hour long.
Okay.
Yeah, right around that time. It's been fun. Yeah, here comes the music. Oh, okay. Yep.
戦うみんなの味方僕らの街のお薬屋さ
Rated 5 stars. Oh. Okay. I almost forgot. Rated 5 stars on iTunes or something.
と宝玉で禁止大変仲間を助ける血がエチの玉と
Oh, I just love that good sweet content.